Hi guys, Christina here from Crescent Moon Creations. Thanks for tuning in. Today I am making cold processed soap using the design technique called the Clyde slide. And this is named after Clyde of Vibrant Soap, who created this modified cross of an in the pot swirl with a full funnel pour to get a really neat finished swirl in the soap. So here I already have my oils and powdered goat's milk, so I am just going to give this a spin with the stick blender to get out any clumps. Now I should have realized that this batch was going to give me some trouble as soon as I started having tangles in power cords. Now I am doing a voiceover for this video mostly because my poor stick blender is on its last leg and it sounds horrible and I did not want to subject you folks to that. I did have a few stubborn clumps that took just a little bit of extra blending to get incorporated in. And now I'm going to add my lye solution, which I have cooled to room temperature to match my oils. And I want a very fluid batter to work with for this design, so I am soaping at room temperature. Looking back, you will notice that I was trying to pour down the blender, and I'm now seeing that that didn't work so well for me. I did not notice at the time that it was plopping in on the backside just straight into the bowl, so I'm not sure how many bubbles I actually prevented in this. Although this batter actually gave me quite a scare, I honestly thought I was going to have soap on a stick. I haven't even added any fragrance yet, but as I start to blend this, you will notice how fast it is thickening up. I really thought this was going to seize on me. Thankfully though, I was able to stir it loose and I still ended up with a nice fluid batter. But it really gave me a scare. So here you can start to see it hitting the surface already, and look at that thickening up so quickly. And like I said, my stick blender is on its last leg, so it really could not handle that thick of a batter. So I had to do kind of a lot of hand stirring just with the blender itself, and then I had to start blending mostly just at the surface. So I know I'm gonna have to hand stir this to get out all the bubbles that I am adding to it right now. So as you see, as I stir this, it was loosening up quite nicely. So I decided to go ahead and move forward with it. Here I am adding my titanium dioxide. And well, my camera ran out of memory and shut off. So we missed a little bit of footage, but not much. Just me adding the fragrance and splitting the batch and my initial color mixing. Now you can see I have split my batter into 4, and I have white, yellow, blue, and green. However, this blue color morphs like crazy, and you can really see it in the blue and green when I stir them. I tried to add a bit more just in case, because I really didn't want the color they were changing to, but in the end it will be a surprise on what my final colors will be. It's part of the joys of soaping, but mostly this happens to me a lot right now because my colors are not really meant for cold process. They're actually more for melt and pour. So the pH of my cold process alters them. So they are not cold process or hot process stable. So that's where I'm getting all of that color morphing. Now I am in the process of getting cold process stable colors, but I live in Hawaii and shipping is always a hurdle for me, as I'm sure many of you watching can understand. Giving these one last hand stir just to kind of scrape the sides a bit, make sure we have everything together. And now that our colors are ready, we are going to get pouring. So for the Clyde slide, we start with a new clean bowl, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a base color and pour on the side, just one side of the bowl. So I'm starting with white, and then I'm going to pour on top of this with my next color, and I'm going to go with this lighter blue. Let me just move things around, get it adjusted, and pull this into view. Now when I pour in this blue, I want to hit the side of the bowl because I want the blue to sit on top as a layer. I don't want it blending directly in. And I'm going to repeat this process with all of my colors, pouring and creating these layers. So this is really kind of the faux funnel portion of this design. And you can see how I didn't quite hit the side of the bowl initially with that round of white, and how it poured all the way down in more like a drop swirl versus sitting on top as a layer. So that's where you really want to kind of hit the side of the bowl. Now you'll notice that as I pour my layers, I am not going in any particular order. I am just pouring layers. Sorry, that was my phone started ringing. And I'm just pouring this in random layers because that's what I want. I want a more random look and design in my final soap. Oh, and the fragrance of this batch is a custom blend of essential oils. It is clove bud, rosemary, patchouli, and a touch of lemongrass. I love it. It smells so good. You really pick up the lemongrass on the front, but then it kind of warms and gets a little bit spicy from the clove and the patchouli. Now, the next time I do this, I think I'm going to pour 2 spots or 2 sets of layers instead of 1. Again, just for more dimension in the final soap. So in this one, I'm pouring to the left side as you're viewing this. So next time I'm going to pour at the left and the right. Clean up my area a little bit. I'm trying to be a much cleaner soaper for this video, but I'm usually pretty messy. Now that we have all of our layers, we can grab our mold and pour our batter in. So I am pouring a vertical or length pour for this batch. My next one, I think I will try a width pour. If you watch Clyde's video on this, you can actually see the finished result and how this produces 2 different looks in the soap when you cut it. It's actually really pretty cool. But as I was pouring that, you could really see how much that morphs. And again, it'll color morph again on the top because you're just going to be able to see the white, the blue, green, and the yellow. And I'm just going to give this a good smack down to help get rid of any excess air bubbles. I think it has such a pretty look to it right now. It has almost like, I don't know, a stained glass kind of look or something. I don't know. It's really pretty. I like it. I can't quite describe it. If you have better description, feel free to leave it in the comments below. So now we're going to do a little scrapey and design the top of our loaf. And as I was scraping these, because the batter was still amazingly so fluid, I had much more left in my containers than I had originally thought because it wasn't quite pouring out anymore. But that's okay. We will definitely get it all in here. Okay, so I'm just gonna clean up my mold a little bit here. And then I'm gonna use this skewer to just give it a kind of swirly, curly design on the top. And I'm not placing the skewer very deep into the soap because I just want this on the top. I don't want it to change or impact the design on the inside. Alright, and that is it. So here is our finished Clyde slide loaf. Keep watching for the cutting of this soap. See, this is what I'm talking about. Wow, check out that color morphing as it sets up. And here we are cutting the final product. You can see I got a purple kind of color on top, but the inside did keep the blue, green, and yellow color scheme. And I must say, this soap smells amazing. I love it. And I must say, even with all the crazy color morphing, I love how this soap turned out, and I'm a big fan of this technique. I will definitely be doing more batches using this Clyde slide, and I may play around with ways to modify it as well. Now I am cutting these at a 1-inch bar size with my DIY soap cutter. I actually got a wire cheese cutter that had a longer base to it and attached a brace to it and marked out my 1-inch, 1 1/4, and 1.5 inch marks. And I must say, I love it. I was cutting by hand and my bars were all over the place. One day I will get a bigger, fancier cutter, but for now I love my little DIY one here. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more, go ahead and like this video by giving it a big thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe to this channel. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram, and I will leave the links to those in the description box below. Thanks again, and see you next time.